Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's DLloyd, man, and we are back. I know I have been gone for quite a while. I got extremely sick over the past few weeks, but I am back. Hopefully, you guys don't hear it in my voice, man. But in the time that we missed, it was probably a good thing because a lot of good stuff has happened in the Madden modding community, bro. So first, we need to talk about a tattoo mod that is extremely dope. We have to talk about a franchise mod that has been continuously getting better to the point that it is officially released, and we're going to have some info on that as well. And then we have to talk about gameplay mods. We have to talk about progression mods, a ton of stuff that I want to talk about in this video. But alright guys, so if you are playing Madden on PC, I definitely would advise you to look into a lot of these mods that we will show today. Unfortunately, these mods are only, as of right now, available on PC. I don't see that changing, anytime soon, but they are available on PC. So as usual, I will leave a link to the Discord. You guys can check out a lot of the mods and things like that in the description below. So what you see right now is the Start Today menu. Now, a lot of these mods you are using offline, you're playing offline, you're not on any servers, anything like that. So the ability to start exactly where the NFL is right now is a pretty big deal, man. So you can come through, you can start in week 17. All of the records and standings are accurate, so you're not missing anything if you choose to start today. And with that, you get a lot of the extra mods that we're going to talk about today, right? Because there are new franchise mods, progression mods that we want to talk about. Now, the first thing, very small, but it's big to me. It's probably big to a lot of guys. That is the tattoo mod. Now, for whatever reason, EA has just refused. I know they said it could because of copyright or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure I 100% believe all of that because 2K has tattoos for everybody, but we have tattoos in the game. Now, I'm not sure how good it will come across here, but you see Jesse Bates. He has his tattoos on, man. We go to edit player. You can see him in his full equipment with the tattoos. Now, the way the tattoos are, of course, they are not on every single player. You can download cyber faces for specific players if you want just their tattoos, but this is a universal mod, which means it's going to work on way more than just the players that you would get the cyber face on. So I believe he has 5 tattoo sleeves that he made, and he just went through and put them on various players, man. I'm just going through some of the players that I know for sure have them. So you're looking at Darren Waller. Once again, you see his tattoos a little bit different from Bates, but I mean, you have 5 of them, so you have some type of variation. The main part is, I mean, you have tattoos. I guess that's the main part here, man, because in the game, for whatever reason, you only have what Mike Evans and Odell Beckham, I believe, are the only players with their tattoos actually in the game. So you get tattoos on many more players, which is a cool thing to see. Just looking at a few more guys that do have their tattoos, you see Tyrann Mathieu, he has a tattoo sleeve as well, which is pretty cool. I think his is a little bit different from the last 2 guys. So there you go, you get another example of a different tattoo sleeve that you can get. Who else? I'm trying to think of other guys off the top of my head who I know should have tattoos. Trey Lance should have a tattoo in here. Let's take a look. Yes, Trey Lance, his player has tattoos in the game. Lamar Jackson should also have some. See if we can go to the Ravens and take a look, see if he has something there, man. So Lamar Jackson does. So Lamar Jackson does have the same one as Darren Waller, but he does have tattoos as well. So a cool little mod that I think will just elevate. And the main part of these mods in general are small things that kind of just add up. Like you see the scrunch socks, you see the Nike towel, the different color visors, which is in the game as well, which I don't know if I ever showed, but this could be a good time to show them. So we have different color visors as well. So you have your clear, then you have your smoke, but you see how they're all different colors. Then you have your dark, right? Then you have your regular. If you want just the true clear, you go to the Oakleys and things like that. But you have your colored visors right here. So that's another mod that they did put into the game. Like I said, a bunch of small stuff that all add up. All right, guys, so we're gonna hop into a game really quickly just so you guys can see the new Jumbotrons. Now, I spoke on the Jumbotrons before, but they did update them. So this is mod 2.0 when it comes to the Jumbotron. You guys already, of course, see the CBS presentation. We've already made videos talking about that in the past. But let's take a moment to focus on the Jumbotron. So you see on all of them available, they have the updated real life videos that teams have been playing in their stadium. So another small thing, and every single team will have their own. So of course we're just using the Bills for right now. So the Bills is what we are rocking with. But once again, something very, very cool that they added. Of course, we already talked about the advertisements. So you see FanDuel up there, you see Geico up there, Tim Hortons, I believe that is up there, man. So a lot of the real life advertisements as well. But the Jumbotron 2.0, another mod that is elevating a lot of things when it comes to Madden on PC. All right, guys. So we have the Start Today mod, like I already talked about. That just puts you right in week 17. If you pick up later, it'll be week 18. If you pick up in the off season, it'll be in the off season. Whenever it is, they continuously update it so you can start as close, to real life when you want to play your franchise modes, man. So besides that, which has some extra features that we'll talk about a little bit later on as well, the actual franchise mod. So Sabo's franchise mod, I've been using this gameplay mod, and he's getting closer and closer to releasing, getting out of the beta stage and actually releasing version 1. Gameplay mod, insane. You guys have seen a little bit with the Colts, but that is getting better. His franchise mode is probably right up there with the gameplay mod. Now, a couple of stuff that I just want to point out. Now, there are a ton of mods that I want to talk about, or a ton of improvements that he has, but a few that I definitely want to talk about. Now, they disabled all XP and focus player training with this mod. I will explain why, because there is a progression mod. I'll say that in just a second, that changes how you progress in Madden. So all of that is gone. They revamped the regression points, so they start at the peak age at the player's position, and then they'll slowly drop down after that. So a little bit different regression system. Players will receive a dev upgrade for breaking certain NFL records or certain awards, which is cool. Decrease retirement chances of older players with higher overall ratings. Definitely cool to see. Nobody wants to see the 90 overall guy who just turned 32 retire, right? You still have something left in the tank. Why are we retiring? You don't have to worry about that. Now, some roster management stuff. I think all of these are pretty cool, man. Disabled in-season ability to re-sign players to expand free agency. Now, I know some people might say that sucks because I want to sign my guys. Now, you will have the opportunity to re-sign your guys in the offseason before we get to free agency, but in regular season, you cannot go and re-sign your players. And that does create situations where a lot of guys are actually in the free agent pool, which is similar to real life, right? Football is different than the NBA. A lot of times in football, players actually hit free agency, and then they often decide to re-sign with the same team or change location, whatever the case may be. So that is very cool. I definitely like it. They revamped the trade value. Draft picks are based on real life charting. And he matched overalls to it, which is definitely cool. Revamped the roster ranking grading system to improve how teams evaluate their needs. Major, because of how many times have we played in CPU franchises where teams are drafting, quarterbacks or positions of needs, but they aren't really positions of need. So I definitely like that one a ton. Increased quarterback trade value, very important. It's not very often that franchise quarterbacks get traded, right? It's very rare, in fact. Change quarterback production grade weight from touchdowns to quarterback rating. I think that's more of a logical, stat to go off of, as opposed to just the amount of touchdowns you have thrown. Increase AI trading with each other during the season. Cool to see. There shouldn't be a lot of trades in general, but cool to see the computer, making a little bit more. Decrease chances of teams signing lower rated free agents. Increase teams' chances of releasing older overpaid players. You're old, you're washed up, you're making a lot of money, you gotta go. We see it all the time. Whether it's Le'Veon Bell, he's just the first guy that came to mind, right, when he was with the Jets. Sometimes you just have to do those things if they aren't producing like they once were. Increasing how many players get offered deals in free agency. That is big. That also goes with increased outbidding chances in all-season free agency. Because right now, a lot of guys don't get offered, and you can go make offers, or it's easy to outbid the CPU. So they could go out there, they could try to, compete with you. You're not going to automatically get your player. And then increase practice squad stealing. Practice squad should be important. I think this does a solid job of making it, somewhat important, because those guys that you still had to stay on active rosters, just same way you should be, looking at other teams' practice squads. The drafting in general has, I'm not even going to go through all of it. I'll put a screenshot here, but the drafting in general, way better than the drafting before. Too much stuff to announce there. They basically redid a lot of the scouting. They changed some of the weeks, the percentages you get. They changed the amount of private workouts you get. So I mean, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. It's not like you're going in with everybody at 40%, scouted. You're going to have much better chances of at least seeing guys out there in the draft. Of course, they updated practice a little bit, so updated the game plan boost to match Gen 5, so PS5, Xbox Series S and X is going to match that. Then they replaced some injuries, so broken fingers will now be concussions, hip pointers will now be ankles. They also entirely redid the Super Sim stats engine system, so if you Super Sim a lot, they redid just about all of that. So this is all just in the Sabo franchise mod. Now, I talked about earlier about the progression tool. So the progression has changed. Now, they worked with Sabo on this one. This is T-Dog's progression tool. Now, you're going to need Microsoft Office in order for this to work. So that is something that you do have to, go out there and hope and get. But if you have the Madden franchise editor, this is a very cool way to progress your guys. It's not just the linear system of, oh, I get enough XP, bam, I get an upgrade. A lot of this is going to dynamically change. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of it because it is insanely long and I haven't mastered it myself, but we're going to start testing it out a little bit and seeing how things work. But basic skill points are gone. I'll post this screenshot up here as well so you could read along with me. Progression is now done at the individual attribute level. New balanced player archetypes added to create more rounded players. Well-rounded player, that is definitely cool. Players are progressed based on final archetypes and how Madden overalls are calculated, meaning some attributes will be skewed, i.e. agile offensive linemen won't improve pass block power and vice versa, which I think is a lot of people's complaint, right? Because how many times have you got things and it just doesn't fit your player, right? You have a speed running back and he's getting trucking like that. We don't need those type of things in our lives, right? That's not what he does, man. So that is definitely cool. I would like to see that. So players who are less than 6 years pro roll a tier 0 through 4 and their potential gain for each eligible attribute in a set base. So they have a controlled randomness formula, but basically 0 being the top, their potential at the given attribute, right? So basically you could get, example, 15 catch potential. He rolls a 6 in year 1. He has 9 attributes that he could potentially get in year 2 and year 3 and so on and so forth. But if he never gets all 15, he just loses the rest that he gets. So say he got 9 in total of that 15 potential that he had. He's just never going to fully meet his potential. That potential is just the ceiling. It doesn't mean they're going to necessarily meet it. So that is essentially how that could work. Of course, once we start our franchise with these mods in place, I'm waiting for all the official stuff to be released. We'll definitely dive into it, a lot more, man. So that is another feature that they've been working on in the Madden modding community, bro. Insane stuff. All right, guys. So with the Start Today mod, you have some small changes as well. So you see some of the alternate logos. So you see where it says Super Bowl 56. Apparently the Bills, Rams are in it. They do have some of the different logos. Now, a lot of you guys that are really deep into the stuff like me, you're going to appreciate this. Now, you go to manage staff, they have all of the coaches. So you see, not only do they have the coaches, they have their portraits as well. So Leslie Frazier is there. Some notable, coordinators that are in the game. Let's see if we can take a look. Go to Chiefs. Eric Bieniemy, he is in there. Steve Spagnuolo, he's in there, man. Let's see, Kellen Moore. You have some cool guys, you know what I mean, that with their pictures in there. And then on top of that, so let's say, we want to go through, we want to fire somebody, man. We went to Super Bowl, but it wasn't enough. You guys got to go. You guys got to go. We're going to go through higher, and you see Ryan Day. Ryan Day is in here, man. So he's looking to be a head coach. We'll see. But Ryan Day is in there. You see, of course, he's using Jacksonville, you know, that Urban Meyer. Ohio State guys, man. Jim Caldwell, Doug Peterson. So, I mean, they don't have their pictures in here, but, you know, their names, they're in there. They're in there, man. So, some cool stuff, like I said, it's really small things, man. Anthony Lynn, Greg Roman. It's really small things that just take this whole experience, you know, to a whole nother level. Like, honestly, to a whole nother level. So, let's see if we can hire Ryan Day as a coordinator. Bam. Hopefully, they make the staff signings a little bit harder to do. But there you go. Oh, no, they do have the picture. So, once you hire them, they come in. So, all right, let's see what they have on defense. Should be the same guys. But that is some really, really cool. I didn't even know about that one. I didn't even know that they would put their pictures in afterwards. So Joe Judge, he's no longer there in New York, so he's gone. Let's go with the name just to see. Why not? Let's go with Doug Peterson. No, he's an offensive guy. Well, I guess they all are, but let's just go with Doug Peterson. Why not? I just want to see if his picture will pop up. Yep. So Doug Peterson, he is there as well. So shout out to all these guys, man. Shout out to all these guys that have been working to make, you know, this as cool of an experience as possible, man. Let's go to re-sign players, because this will be your chance to actually sign guys that we talked about before. You know, you don't have the ability to sign them in season. You also by default have all of the real draft picks, man. So you don't have to do anything. Aiden Hutchinson's there, Evan Neal, Kenny Pickett, Thibodeau's there, Stingley. I mean, all the guys are there, man. So you don't have to do anything. And they have the classes up until 2025 or 2026. One of the two. They have classes all the way up until then available. So you don't have to worry. If you like real draft classes, you don't have to worry about doing anything. It is all there, man. So let's look at players to negotiate. Obviously, you have everybody to negotiate with. We're not going to. We're just going to go through the process, and you could go through right now and you can sign your guy. So let's say we want to bring back Emmanuel Sanders, even though he's 35 years old. We have like no cap room. That's fine. But there you go. He declined the deal, so it's all good. The Bills' cap situation is pretty bad. Wow. I didn't even realize that. So going into the offseason, I just want to go into free agency because we want to see what free agency looks like, right? Because you don't have all of that money. You know, you don't have everybody being re-signed in season. So you do have more free agent guys. So Armstead is there. Chris Godwin is there. Gronk is there. Hayward is there. So, I mean, you have some guys there. So it's not like a completely oversaturated thing because Odell is there. Because obviously some guys are going to be re-signed. But you have a little bit more. You have a little bit more, you know, options to choose from. Which is a cool thing, man. Which is a very cool thing. All right, guys. So we're gonna end that here. But before we get out, I do want to give shout outs to the guys that worked on it. So T-Dog for working on the progression tool. Of course, Sabo for working on both the gameplay mod along with the franchise mod. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting, guys, man. Eli 2 Manningham working on all the draft classes, man. So big shout out to you. The Bleeding Red 21. He's been working on a lot of stuff just in general. So shout out to him. M111 did the tattoo mod. A. Holbert, I believe. Hopefully I'm not butchering your name, bro. 32. He did the Jumbotron mods, man. There's been a ton of guys. I don't want to miss anybody, you know, that's been working on stuff that we've been using. But a lot of people in the community, man, been doing great work. So big shout out to those guys, man. C-Hunt 04. He did the visors, he did the towels, he did the socks. I'm just scrolling through, making sure, you know, people that we use, we're not sliding them in any type of way, man. Any type of way. I probably did miss somebody, man. I definitely apologize. But big shout out to the whole Madden modding community for all of the work. Now, before we get out, I do have two things I do want to ask of you guys. First and foremost, what are some of the mods that, you know, impressed you? What are your thoughts on some of these mods, man? And two, what we did is we started a franchise with the Colts. I kind of want to use all of the stuff that we have now. So I'm thinking of starting over essentially and using what we have now, whether it's the same team, different team. I'm not quite sure yet. But what are you guys' thoughts on that, man? Because there are a ton of things, that they added. Now, of course, I want to wait until everything's official. The progression tool is official. The franchise mod is official. I'm waiting on the gameplay mod to be fully official. It's still in beta, but it is playing really good right now. So I may not be, all the way out on just starting now and then updating that as we go, man. But let me know your thoughts on that as well. But as usual, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please do me a huge favor. Please go ahead and leave this video a like, man. It definitely helps me out more than you guys know. Helps me out a ton. So please leave this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's DLloyd. I'm see y'all next time. Peace.